review. Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. We're going to talk about NXT from December the 3rd, 2024. This will be primarily a deadline prediction show with, of course, NXT review mixed right on in. NXT remains a fun show, even though some of the stuff is quite weird. It's quite weird. We got another whodunit, but they're making interesting decisions and they're trying to make new stars. They have heard people complain that, the work rate has changed. They have heard people say that the men's division is weak, and they're trying to make new stars. So I'm not going to complain about them trying to make new stars. I am going to complain, however, about the people they're trying to make stars. So, Deadline will take place Saturday, December the 7th, and it will be held in the Armory in Minneapolis. They have distributed 1,522 tickets with 544 tickets remaining. The current setup is for 2,000. This is about 4 days out from the show. So it's a pretty small building, I would imagine, but still ought to be a fairly solid show. There is 5 matches listed on the show. So let's get right into this thing. The Men's Iron Survivor Challenge: Wesley, Javon Evans, Nathan Frazer, Ethan Page, and Eddie Thorpe. So Eddie Thorpe won his the Last Chance Iron Survivor match. And I'm not a big fan of Eddie Thorpe. Just not really a big Eddie Thorpe guy. After the match, he was frustrated that Ava was not there to congratulate him on his victory. And at the very end of the show, he was found laid out in the locker room. He was still moving, I think. So we're going to really hope that they decide to write Eddie Thorpe out of this match. But he's won the match. And so now he's in the Iron Survivor Challenge. The Last Chance match was fun, I think. Lexis King has improved quite a bit. Cedric Alexander... I like Cedric Alexander. He's put on some weight. He's no longer a cruiserweight. He's probably up to middleweight now. Axiom, he's just too damn small. Plus, he's a tag team champion, so I'm not surprised he didn't win. Lexis King, like I said before, has improved dramatically. But Javon Evans gets the rub from X-Pac, a.k.a. Sean Waltman, who said he was a fan. Said that he was the same age Javon Evans is now when he first pinned Razor Ramon, and that jumped off his entire career. And they did the 2 Sweet, and Javon got to be a mark again for the 5th time in 2 months. But Javon Evans is no doubt the favorite going into this thing, and as he should be, if we're being honest. He's the most pushed of the guys in this match, outside of Ethan Page. He is no doubt the crowd favorite in the match. So the question, of course, is do you go with the young guy, Javon Evans, and which is, I guess, the number one option is Javon Evans, because you are trying to make new stars. He is very young. You've given him a rub so many times with so many different legends. It's time to pay that off a little bit. But also, you want to be leery of giving him too much too soon. I think somebody who's a little bit more established, like Wesley, might be a good option as well. But Wesley just feels like he's stuck where he is. And that's why I kind of think he might be a better choice. As a guy to get over the hump, he might be a better choice. But Nathan Frazer, you can forget it. Ethan Page, we've been there, done that. I'm not interested in that. And Eddie Thorpe, well, we're not even sure he's going to make it. They may use him being laid out in the locker room as an excuse to why he didn't win, if he even makes the Iron Survivor match. So I'm going to go with the winner being Wesley. Good money would say Javon Evans, but I'm going to go ahead and say Wesley. Match 2, the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. Sol Ruka, Stephanie Vaquer, Zaria, Julia, and Ren Sinclair. So we started the show on NXT with the Women's Iron Survivor last chance match that was won by Ren Sinclair in a complete stroke of luck as Lola Vice just waltzed down the ramp. I've been talking about this, and people just walking down the ramp to interfere. She does a spinning back fist. I don't see how this generated any kind of power while she was standing on the ring apron. But she hit Ren Sinclair, who fell atop Cora Jade, who had been knocked out by Kalani Jordan. And Ren Sinclair just won the match that way. I'm not thrilled about this, but again, they're trying to make new stars. And Ren Sinclair she's kind of like the new, what was that girl, the tall giraffe girl? I forgot her name already. She got fired. Indy Hartwell. Ren Sinclair is like the new Indy Hartwell. She's an indie darling. The internet loves her, but I don't see much. She has some charisma, some personality. I'm not seeing much in her, however. I would have much preferred to have any of the other women in this match rather than Ren Sinclair, but they're trying to elevate her. And it makes sense because they're trying to create a feud between Kalani Jordan and Cora Jade that was built within the body of this match, where they started shoving each other, and Cora Jade was mocking Kalani Jordan, calling her a little baby. And she was also quite mad that Kalani Jordan was the reason she didn't win this match. And Jada Parker is feuding with Lola Vice. So that leads to Jada Parker being very upset. After the match, she was hollering at the referee, demanding that the underground match that she had been challenged to happens right now. So she wanted the referees and everybody to take all the ropes down, which for some reason they listen to her and do that. She's yelling at the ref. I think she called the ref a nigga. It sounded like it. That's like a desk pop in the other guys. I can't wait for a black person to cut a promo and just drop the N-word in the promo. I mean, it's great. Hilarious. But anyway, Lola Vice came out there, said that Jada Parker's making a big mistake agreeing to this match because now she's not going to have any weapons. She's not going to have any bricks. She's not going to have any rope. She's not going to have anything. And she's going to knock her punk ass out. So Jada Parker is holding a brick. And then she says, I don't need it. And she throws the brick, or tosses the brick, to Lola Vice, who catches it and then gets elbowed in the head and knocked clean the hell on out. I was just like, wow. Great way to sell this match. And she just had Jada Parker knock her out for free on TV. Clearly this means that Lola Vice is going to win the actual underground match. But I wouldn't have had Lola Vice get knocked out so easily. I mean, Jesus Christ. One thing I will say, though, for sure, is Jada Parker has a lot of personality. She has a lot of charisma. She's very believable when she talks. So her promo was quite good. Lola Vice, not really a strong promo, but at least she believes what she's saying. And Lola Vice, as a babyface, has been getting punked out a lot. Not a big fan of that. You know, Lola Vice was good as a heel. As a babyface, she's spending a lot of time on her back. She's getting knocked out a lot. It betrays her training. And maybe that's what the point of it is, to show that she's willing to put over others. But I don't like the idea. If anything, she should be a stronger babyface because of her MMA background. It seems like they're trying to do something. They're trying to prove something with her. You know, maybe they're testing her to see if she's willing to do business, I think. But they're going to have an underground match that's actually listed for this show. It's actually the 5th match on the show. Jada Parker versus Lola Vice, NXT Underground. I of course think that Lola Vice is going to win. Jada Parker doesn't need to win this match. Plus, she won the last one. She hit Lola in the face with a brick. She elbowed her in the face, knocked her out. Lola's got to win, right? Now, the question is, does she win by tap out or does she win by pinfall? You can't pin. It got to be knockout or tap out. It wouldn't do Jada Parker any good to submit. She has a bit of a hard edge persona too. If she did tap out, it would help Lola Vice tremendously because, again, she's been getting hit in the face with bricks and everything, so maybe she kind of needs that. But if they want to protect Jada Parker, they do some kind of knockout or she gets choked out or something like that. But I certainly think that Lola Vice is going to win the NXT Underground match. Now, who wins the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge? Well, you have a couple of really good challengers in here. I guess you could say the big three of NXT with Stephanie Vaquer, Zarya, and Julia, all being in this one match. I still personally would prefer Sol Ruca to win the match. I think that she's worked really hard. She doesn't have a personality in terms of she doesn't really jump off the page. If we were going to go by who would make more sense in terms of character and all that, probably Stephanie. Even though I think Julia is more over. Zarya, I don't think she should even be in this match. I think we should still be building her with singles matches and, personal feuds and stuff like that. I don't think it really benefits her to be in this match if she's not going to win it. And it doesn't benefit her to be in this match if she wins it and she's not going to win the belt. And plus, it kind of sucks if you put the belt on her because she hasn't had that many matches. Personally, I probably would go with Stephanie Vaquer, even though I think Sol Ruca is like my favorite. Stephanie is probably my second favorite. And I think Stephanie, in terms of in the ring, has been more dynamic. And I think that her personality has been there a little bit more, even though I think Julia is more charismatic. I think we could hold off on Julia. So I would probably go with Stephanie Vaquer as the winner of the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. They did have a segment on NXT that just turned into a brawl after a really bad Roxanne Perez promo. It's been about a year of Roxanne Perez standing in the ring cutting really bad promos. She is not improving whatsoever. Her promos are not getting better. She needs to do the mirror trick where she just talks in the mirror and see. This is not working. Somebody needs to start booing her and throwing tomatoes or something. I don't think we do that anymore. Do we do that anymore? Do we throw tomatoes at people? Because we probably need to, right? Probably need to throw some tomatoes at folks. All right, so Nathan Fraser, he's got double duty. Nathan Fraser and Axiom versus the No Quarter Cash crew, who is Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights. So Miles Bourne actually won the Tag Team Battle Royal. He won it by himself. They had unique rules for the Tag Team Battle Royal, which I think is probably the smarter rules, which is both members of the team have to be thrown over the top rope. It's irrelevant who all the teams that were in it because it was a bunch of teams. It was pretty much every team on NXT that was in this thing, and Miles Bourne won it. It was all right, I guess. So No Quarter Cash crew, they're going to be featured quite a bit on here. The company is clearly trying to get them over, likely trying to make them the new Chase U. So I'm going to go with No Quarter Cash crew wins. Now, the reason I'm going to go with them winning is because they've been teasing that Axiom and Nathan Fraser has dissension in the ranks. They've been teasing this for months. It's time to really pay that story off. Tavion Heights went on excursion to it was Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan. He came back, his stock had risen a little bit. They purposefully kept him off television, specifically, I think, for this. That they wanted to wait until they had something for him. And now they got this. It's a prime opportunity to do something new and freshen up that tag team division, as Axiom and Nathan Fraser have been the champions for a really long time. And I think that keeping with the theme of it's time to try to make new stars, breaking up Axiom and Nathan Fraser, sending them their own way, while elevating Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights is probably the best option. So I'm going to go with Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne winning the Tag Team Championship. In the main event of the evening, Trick Williams versus Ridge Holland. So there was a promo segment featuring Eric Bischoff. It was interesting because I thought Bischoff would be more involved, but he was basically just the host for this segment. Bischoff talked about being on the cutting edge and revolutionary throughout his entire wrestling career. He didn't mention Aces and Eights for some reason. He mentioned the NWO and he mentioned Nitro. He didn't mention moving Impact to Mondays. He didn't mention taking them from a 6-sided ring to a 4-sided ring. There's a lot of things he didn't mention. A lot of things he left out when it comes to his revolutionary creativity. Anyway, he put over both guys, says that Ridge Holland is a throwback to his childhood of watching The Crusher and Dick the Bruiser, which, when I heard that, my ears tingled, because I'm thinking, Ridge Holland being compared to Dick the Bruiser. It's not as crazy as it sounds. I don't know, all of y'all are kids. Most of y'all have no idea what Dick the Bruiser. Google Dick the Bruiser. He was kind of like the Brock Lesnar of his era. Just a huge guy. He played football for the Green Bay Packers, for a short amount of time. He owned a wrestling promotion in Indianapolis. He was known for his territory war in Detroit with the Sheik, the original Sheik Ed Farhat, where he came from Indiana to Detroit to run shows. He was a huge star everywhere he went. From the 1950s to like the 1970s, Dick the Bruiser was huge. And he's pretty awesome too, if you go back and watch old footage. Comparing him to Ridge Holland that's a kind of a stretch. But Dick the Bruiser was never really known for being the most technically proficient professional wrestler either. He's a football player, and he started wrestling in college, professional wrestling in college, and he was doing that and playing football at the same time. If you see Dick the Bruiser, you can see the resemblance to Ridge Holland. You can see that, and when you listen to Ridge Holland's backstory, that he played rugby, which is, you got to be like an android to play rugby. It's very different from American football. And I like that he used that against Trick Williams, saying, you play football with all of your pads. I play rugby. It's a man's sport. He also said that Trick Williams was soft, that he's got all of these adornments, all of this jewelry, all this flash. He says, but underneath all of that, you're just soft. Trick Williams called Ridge Holland boring, bland, vanilla, and then punched him in the face for calling him soft. They brawled a little bit. They go outside the ring. Ridge Holland does his little package DDT on the table, or on the desk, the announce desk. And Trick Williams is actually stretchered out. They did a stretcher spot before the pay-per-view, which is, I gotta say, pretty ballsy. A pretty ballsy move. And they're really putting over Ridge Holland, aren't they? They're putting Ridge Holland strong. They got their foot on the gas when it comes to Ridge Holland, okay? And it's working. The crowd is responding to Ridge Holland more now than ever before. They're chanting Ridge as a wanker and clapping and everything. He's the most over heel on the roster now. All it took was for them to kill their most popular stable, and now he's extremely over. Now he's put the top babyface on a stretcher. They are really trying to get over Ridge Holland. I think you can't beat him at this point. All this heat that you're building up with Ridge Holland, you kind of have to put the belt on him. That's how I feel, and I think it actually would affect who should win the Iron Survivor Challenge. So if you want to have Ridge Holland with all the heat that he's accumulated over the last several weeks, you might want to put Javon Evans over in the Iron Survivor Challenge, because he can then try to assume the role of top babyface and have him try to beat Ridge Holland, and it's a fresh match at the top of the card. And Trick Williams, admittedly, I'm a huge Trick Williams fan. He's been at the top of NXT for over a year. He was there mixing it up with Carmelo and Ilya Dragunov at this point in time last year. So he's been at the top. He main evented this show last year. So he's been at the top for a year. He's improved dramatically, but he's still not great. NXT is struggling to get new male stars over, because they haven't signed any big male stars yet, and they haven't sent anybody back from the main roster to play that role. Well, I guess they did sign Ethan Page, but does he really count? Does he really count as a big star? Does Shawn Spears count? No, he doesn't. Shawn Spears does not count. He never will count. He's sewage, right? So they haven't signed like a big star to come in and help the men's division. So they've been forced to build stars. And they really did a good job with Trick Williams. Now I guess it's time to pass the torch. All the effort that they put into Ridge Holland, it's time to pay it off. You're going to do all this stuff. Ridge Holland needs to be the champion. And then you can have all the members of Chase University. You could have Trick Williams. You could have a bunch of other people chase him for the title. And he's a solid champion. I think you go that route. Go ahead, give the belt to Ridge Holland. I don't see anybody else getting it anytime soon. And I think that with the amount of build that they've been putting behind Ridge Holland and how advanced he is in age, again, Ridge Holland is over the age of 30. I think he's over 35. If you're not going to do it now, you're probably never going to do it. So, double checked. Ridge Holland is 36. So if you're not going to do it now, you're not going to do it at all. So go ahead, give him the belt now. Let him have I wouldn't say like a year-long run, but let that heat build a little bit more. Then you could have somebody like Javon Evans beat him for the belt, and he could go back to the main roster. All the effort you put into Ridge Holland, it is time to pay that off. They gave Trick Williams a good excuse because he got stretchered out on Tuesday. He's going to be going into the match injured or at least weakened, and that's a good excuse to put Ridge over. If Ridge wins in the middle of the show, it won't send the crowd home disappointed or upset. So I can say that this match won't main event the show. This match will probably go on third or fourth, right before it'll probably be the men's Iron Survivor Challenge that'll be the main event. So put this match on first, and I mean by first, I mean like third or fourth. And let Ridge Holland win the belt. The crowd would be pissed. But then a babyface has to go over in the main event. And I think that babyface should probably be Javon Evans. But I think I've already picked Wesley. And who cares? I'm changing my pick. It's gonna be Javon Evans, okay? So that's my choices. Now in terms of the rest of NXT, what happened on the rest of this show? Carmen Petrovich says that she was done with Ashani Theodonis. She was done with him. This led to that Dion guy and Brinley Reese being gossip girls. I don't know why this Dion dude, as big and jacked as he is, why is he a gossip girl? Anyway, Ashani sent some flowers and with a note that says the text to Nikita was before her, and Carmen got to blushing and all this, and everybody was like, ooh. And even the brother was there, again, being a gossip girl. I don't get it. Carmen Petrovich then defeated Nikita Lyons in their match later on. Carmen Petrovich is much better than she was a couple of months ago. Nikita Lyons is about the same. About the same as the last time I saw her. Ashani Theodonis came down to ringside. He mistakenly pushed Carmen Petrovich out of the way. Nikita Lyons kicked him, and that was a distraction. When she turned around, she got kicked by Carmen Petrovich and pinned. After the match, Carmen was mad at Ashani for getting in the way. But so, as the world turns, Ashani had her, and when she slips through his fingers once again, Shawn Spears, that bum, he's been talking about he's prepared to unleash Nico. I just hope Nico just throws him into the goddamn East River or something just to get rid of him. God damn, your career's never going to go anywhere, Nico. Listen to me, please. Listen to the sound of my voice, please. Shawn Spears is bad for business. If you hitch your wagon to Shawn Spears, you too will be a washout of AEW. Please don't do this. Anyway, Shawn Spears says that there's something missing from his gaggle of weirdos, which includes Brooks Jensen. And that is Gigi Dolan. He's trying to recruit Gigi Dolan. He's trying to get his swamp mud all over Gigi Dolan. Gigi Dolan, of course, is friends with Tatum Paxley. And Tatum Paxley says that Shawn Spears is creepy, which is putting it mildly. Look, the fat guy in the office who keeps looking at you is creepy. Shawn Spears is beyond that. Shawn Spears is a jump scare. You talk about scaring the hoes. I'm pretty sure Shawn Spears is one of the scariest of them all. But last time I went off on Shawn Spears, this is what occurred. I want people to realize these are the conversations I end up having in the comment section. So somebody comes into my video and says, "Hey, Mongo, why are you talking bad about Shawn Spears? Don't you know he's married to Peyton Royce? She's a bad bitch." I say, man, look at this. Hear me good. Two things. One, it don't count because she's Australian. Two, women make bad decisions. Women always make bad decisions. They're noted for making terrible decisions. And Peyton Royce made a couple of really, really bad decisions. If you think that Shawn Spears won because he got Peyton Royce, hear me good. Again, two things. One, she's Australian. Two, women make bad decisions. Three, Peyton Royce went and had a conversation with Vince McMahon and admitted that she was boring. And to her boss. She went to her boss and said, "Hey, I'm sorry, man. I'm boring. I don't know. What you gonna do with me? I'm boring." And he fired her because she's a fucking idiot. So yeah, don't come to me and say, "Oh, Shawn Spears got a bad bitch. He must be good at something." No, his wife is boring. She's dumb. She's a brick brain Australian. So no, nothing works. It doesn't work. That don't work. He's not like The Miz, okay? No, The Miz might suck, but you know his home life is great. You can say things about Juice Robinson. "Oh, Juice Robinson, he got a bad bitch, man. Why you hating on him?" Juice Robinson sucks. Well, he's got a good wife. Okay, you know, he won. But Shawn Spears, his wife is an idiot too. Just two untalented people. It is what it is. Now, let me step off that soapbox. That was pretty much the entirety of NXT. We got a whodunit because we don't know who attacked Eddie Thorpe backstage. Hopefully it's somebody new, somebody different. Somebody's going to take Eddie Thorpe's spot in his Iron Survivor Challenge because I really don't want him in it. Not really a big Eddie Thorpe guy personally. But I am looking forward to NXT Deadline. I don't know what kind of special food I'm going to have. I've already made chili. I've already made, nachos. I've had burgers 2 days in a row. I'm going to come up with something. We're going to come up with something, dog. Hopefully I won't be sick, so we'll come up with something. But let me know what you guys plan to do for NXT Deadline. And did you enjoy this episode of NXT? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you guys later.